in our coast region that has subjected millions of citizens to the indignity of being squatters, secondary citizens in their own country. They are treated lesser than other Kenyans. It is part of repairing our nation. I remember very well, and this is a good occasion for me to say, when I decided to appoint General Ogolla, I was correcting the negative profiling of some of our communities, that there are positions that are reserved for some people and there are positions that can never be occupied by other people. An injustice and a stigma on a whole community. It needed to be corrected. And it is the same thing when it came to the formation of the broad-based government. I remember very well, my brother, the Honorable Raila Odinga, had a different opinion of who should be the Minister for Finance. And I remember I told him that, my brother, if there is one place I will defy you, is that I am going to appoint a person from Luo Nyanza to be the first Cabinet Secretary or Minister for Finance. Again, to correct a negative profiling of a whole community that they don't care about property. You know, property belongs to some people, the economy belongs to some. No. Listen, good people. And it is also the same reason why I have made the decision that development in Kenya is never going to be done again on account of which citizen has voted in which direction. That we are going to develop this nation equally, and every part of Kenya deserves a share of development like any other. That we are going to remove the mentality that there are those who have more shares than others. This is one nation. And finally, when we developed the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, it was also about correcting this nation. You know, there is a perception in Kenya that it is okay for people to be poor. There are people who are made to be poor. There are people who are made to stay in slums. And there are the rest of us. There are people who are supposed to remain jobless. There are people, do you know, for example, good people, when we talk about the people in slums, just explain to me how the rest of us here have houses that have 3, 4 toilets. There is a citizen in Kenya who doesn't have a toilet and has to pay to use a toilet, and it is supposed to be okay. How is that supposed to be okay? What kind of indignity do we make other citizens to go through? That there are people who become sick, but they cannot go to hospital. They will wait to die because they have no way of paying their way in hospital. And it's supposed to be okay. And then, when we rally the country to carry everybody on board, that those of us who have a privilege to have, those of us who have a privilege to have a pay slip, to have a job, can extend our contribution so that we can carry the people in the slums along. We can carry those who cannot go to hospital along. You hear people say, we are defenders of the dignity of the payslip. So, what about the indignity of being jobless? What about the indignity of suffering in a country that we are all supposed to belong? You know, these are things we must correct. And it doesn't matter, to me, the consequences. We must correct. And so, this occasion, I said at the beginning, is a very solemn occasion. And it is a very consequential occasion. Part of why, my good party leader, part of why maybe you got a late invitation, and I thought about it this morning, was because this occasion originally was supposed to be a private occasion. It was supposed to be a small occasion for the commission to come and give me a report. But I said no. You know, there are people who don't know the consequence of this occasion. There are people who underestimate the consequence of this occasion. It is part of us getting and making peace with ourselves as a nation. And I really want to persuade us as leaders to lead from the front. Many people have spoken to how it is easy to dodge this kind of thing. You know, there are so many reports that have been done. You know, one good friend of mine told me, you know, if you go this journey, you could easily be taken to The Hague because you are actually admitting that your government and those others have committed crimes. But so be it. We must confront this occasion. I've had to make very difficult decisions, so this is no excuse. Let's make this one as well, so that we can take the nation forward. And I want to congratulate the Kenya Human Rights Commission. You have done a good job. You've really done a good job. I mean, when somebody does a good job, let us call it what it is. Carry forward. And I have listened to you very carefully, and you have said that we need to make resources available to you and your commission so that you can discharge your responsibility, because it is now almost a requirement that whatever it is we do, whether we are keeping the peace or we are running development, it must be in tandem with the rights of people. And so I agree with you, and I am very happy that you are making this request when everybody is sitting here. The people who appropriate money are sitting here. The people who work on a budget, they are sitting here. The executive is here. The deputy president is here. You are listening to what she has said. The leaders of majority, the leaders of minority, the people who run parliament, our speakers are here. I think the chair, Clarice, and her team deserve the request they have made. Yeah, and all of us will pull from wherever we can to make sure that this happens. As you are aware,
this conversation we are having in Kenya is not an isolated conversation. It is the same conversation we will be having tomorrow in France. And we will be having tomorrow a conversation about fairness and about how we treat each other. We will be making, personally, I will be taking a very candid position that as a people, we do not want relationships with others based on dependency. No, we want a relationship of sovereign equality. We will be making, I will be taking the position tomorrow on a relationship not based on
charity, aid, or assistance, but on mutually beneficial partnerships. Not a relationship based on extraction of our resources, but on investment that benefits us and benefits those who are investing. It is a conversation about relationships. How are we living together? We will be pitching for a different. Any injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And we do not be victims of, that. I think there was a saying that when they came for I don't know who, you did nothing. Then they came for the next guy, and then when finally they came for you, there was nobody. So we have to take our position. And that is how we're going to relate. That's how we're going to build a much more fairer world as we build a much more fairer country. Ladies and gentlemen,
let the measure of our success
not be in how much we pay, but in how much we reform, so that the wounds we tend today are never inflicted again. That is the promise of this day. That is the responsibility of this generation. That is the Kenya we must build together. And this is my solemn commitment to the nation. May God bless you all, and may God bless our country, Kenya. Asante.
Like ours with the economy that we have and had even that in even then in 2023.
And a clap, kindly. Thank you, Excellency. We'll all be upstanding to wind up now with the national anthem, the anthem. That brings us to the end of this session. Your Excellency, with your permission, will request one photo.
The resources to compensate victims of all past injustices. And I remember when we said we will go beyond 2023 demonstrations back to 2017. We asked ourselves, how do you even identify the victims? Where do you get the resources to compensate them? But Your Excellency, as the chair of the commissioner said, and as the former Prime Minister told us, this is beyond monetary compensation. It is about restorative justice and making every Kenyan feel part and parcel of our country moving forward. Allow me, Your Excellency, to conclude by congratulating you again for your courage and confidence that this can be done within our lifetime. It took Your Excellency 2 weeks ago, again, to offer a national apology to the people of Northern Kenya for their historical injustices of marginalization, and that takes leadership and it takes courage. It has taken you again courage and the support of many of the people in this room, the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, and as I said, with immense tribute to the former Prime Minister, his courage to continue fighting for justice for Kenyans many who would never know the sacrifices that he had to go through to get this to fruition today. With those few remarks, Your Excellency, thank you and congratulations to yourself and the Kenya Human Rights Commission. As Junet Mohammed has committed, I will also commit as the leader of the majority in the National Assembly that whatever legislative proposals the Kenya Human Rights Commission will bring forth to enact into law, we will support for the betterment of our country. I look forward to a country, as Junet Mohammed, who keeps telling me he is a product of demonstrations and protests, that he would never want to see a nation without demonstrations and protests. But I look forward, like he does, to having processions, protests, and
kamavu wake kudhibiti safari ambayo ilikuwa na utelezi mkubwa, lakini alisimama kidete mpaka leo hii tumesimama hapa. Mimi nataka niwapatie kisa kimoja kuonyesha kwamba Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga ikija kwa mambo ya haki za kibinadamu hayumbi. Nakumbuka rais mwaka 2009 wakati wa serikali ya nusu mkate, Mheshimiwa marehemu Saitoti na alikuwa Attorney General Amos Wako walitumwa kule Uswizi, Geneva, na Mheshimiwa Rais Kibaki kwenda kutetea ama kuweka bayana ripoti ya Kenya ya haki za kibinadamu. Lakini baada ya kuangalia ile ripoti ambayo ilikuwa inapelekwa Uswizi kule Geneva, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga alikosoa ile ripoti ile na akasema kwamba haiwezi kamwe ripoti hii kufika Geneva, ati hii ndio hiyo ripoti ya Kenya. Na walivutana na Rais Kibaki, na Rais Kibaki akakataa kubadilisha ile ripoti. Mheshimiwa Raila, kwa sababu ya msimamo wake thabiti wa mambo ya haki za kibinadamu, aliniita mimi na Mheshimiwa Orengo na akakata tikiti, akatuingiza kwa ndege twende Uswizi, na akasema kwamba wakati Saitoti akisimama ukumbini wakati Kenya napeana ripoti yake, msimame mpeane ripoti yetu pia. Rais, tuliabiri ndege kwenda Uswizi, mimi na Mheshimiwa Orengo. Mimi sikuwa na visa, lakini nikaambiwa wewe panda ndege, ukishuka utapata visa kule Uswizi, na nikapata visa wakati nilipoingia Uswizi. Na tulijadiliana usiku mzima rais na kina Saitoti.